Nittany Lions might have lost a couple of guys, but man, they are bringing in a loaded group, including a 5-star running back named Miles Sanders. They've got guys on the defensive line, left and right, a few 4-star guys there. They're in all likelihood lining up a top 20 class nationally for the second time in a row under head coach James Franklin, who joins us now from State College. And why not start off with this elite running back you have? Explain to me how talented Miles Sanders is.
Well, let me start talking about Mom. She was the one. We got Mom on board very early in the process. Her son was comfortable as well. And Mom really kind of, came through in the end for us. So he's a special guy. He's very mature. Mom gets it. It was all about education with her. It was all about her son being able to go on and be successful for the next 45 to 50 years. And that's why we were able to get him on our roster and get him on our team. But he's a dynamic kid. I've watched him play multiple times. He can make plays out of the backfield as a receiver. He can run for power. He can run for speed and quickness. He's got a great combination of skills, and he's a good-sized guy. I think he's got a chance to be a 220-pound-plus back when it's all said and done.
4-year starter at high school there. What would you say is the biggest need you had in this class?
Well, I think, as you guys know, when we got the job, we only had 9 scholarship offensive linemen in the program. Most, major Division I programs have 15 to 16 guys on scholarship. So, we've been working on that for the last 2 years now. So, I think if you look at our O-line class, the 4 guys that we brought in, really excited about those guys as a group. Obviously, then the combination of Miles. When you're an offensive lineman, you got Miles behind you. It makes all the blocks better.
We saw last year with a true freshman, Saquon Barkley. He got an awful lot of playing time, so we know if you're good enough, you can play for James Franklin as a true freshman. What about your impressive crop of defensive linemen? Any of those guys have a chance to play this fall?
Yeah, they're going to have to. Depth is still an issue for us. We had 4 guys, graduated guys that when we arrived here, D-line was a strength, and that's one of the big reasons why we played well on defense. Trying to replace a Nassib, a Johnson, a Zettel, a Terrell Barney. Those 4 guys, played a lot of football for us. So we went out and recruited guys that we think are going to be able to come in and impact the roster soon. And then obviously the guys that we've been developing as well. So, really excited about that group and what they're going to be able to do for us.
Take me back to when you first started recruiting the quarterback Jake Zembiak, the New York Gatorade Player of the Year. Back when you first saw him, what stuck out?
Just, it looks like Zembiak, but it's actually pronounced Zembek. He's on campus for us already. Came to camp. He's got a combination of skills. That's kind of what we look for in recruiting. I think a lot of coaches get caught up in one trait, whether it's a real strong arm or whether he's real big or, depending on the position, real fast. We really want to recruit guys that have a combination of traits that we're looking for. Vision, body type, athleticism, accuracy. Is he a winner? And he's got all those things. I remember standing there in the dome for the state championship game. I think he threw for 386 yards, 4 touchdowns, was the MVP of the game. He's a winner. Came to camp, is more athletic than people realize. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot of that in high school, but tested really well for us as well. So, excited about it. He's already on campus. We only got 3 quarterbacks on scholarship. He's one of them.
I mentioned that you lost a few guys. You had a player or 2 transfer, a coach or 2 left. So you had a couple hurdles to overcome. But I'm curious, how did you handle that when recruits would ask you about it?
Well, I think a couple things. Number one, we've had, probably as much consistency on our staff over the last 5 years as almost anybody in the country. We were able to go out and hire Joe Moorhead, who's been a head coach at Fordham for the last couple of years, his alma mater. Before that was the offensive coordinator at UConn. Been very successful, put up big-time numbers. He's also from Western PA, so bringing him back home. Our offensive line coach who we hired was the offensive coordinator at Minnesota for the last 5 years. Tremendous experience. Also a Western PA guy. One of the things that's interesting is those 2 guys went to high school at the same high school in Western PA and also went to the same elementary school. So bringing guys that have strong connections to this region is really important. And then being able to hire another guy like Tim Banks as our co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach, who's been in the Big Ten as a coordinator for 5 years. So got tremendous experience and guys that are passionate about Penn State and the direction we're going.
Let me ask you about Shane Simmons. You know, a lot of times when the recruit comes to campus, the school does a good job of making a big deal and try to make them special. But the video he released of when you came to his house was like a line of people with pom-poms and loud music playing. Have you ever had anything like that before?
No, in my 21 years, I've never seen anything like that. But, you know, you look at our guys that are committed to us, and especially the guys that have been committed for a long time. They've been unbelievable. Their families, we have very close relationships with their families. You know, we would go to the homes, and it really wasn't recruiting. It was a party. It was a celebration. It was an appreciation for one another. And Jen Simmons, Shane's mom and dad have been unbelievable this whole process, almost like the team mom of the recruiting class. I could say the same thing about the Minute family. Just the young men, you know, like Miles Sanders and his mom, I was talking about the young men that have been committed to us for a while, and were able to build those relationships with us and stuck with us. They've been awesome, you know, so we're very, very appreciative of those guys. It's like a big family that we're all joining, and very appreciative of those guys.
I think we know why James is a good recruiter. 3 letters, M-O-M. He knows the moms in and out. James, congratulations on the class. Thanks for joining us.
Guys, have a great day. Thanks so much for having us on.